Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. We've made a good start into the Grade 5 Music Theory and Practice workbook. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll also find a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guidebook, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory exam, and it's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to best make use of the time when you're actually in the exam room. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you can find it all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store, and so now we'll crack on with section B. So if you turn in your PDF document, the information that you'll need can be found there to help you. And then if you turn with me to page 6 for the time being in your Music Theory and Practice workbook. Here we go. So we're looking at the tenor clef and we're going to carry on. So if you grab your stationery bits and bobs, pencil, eraser, ruler, and we're going to move on to exercise 3. So it just gives you an example of this here. So we need to rewrite each of these passages at the same pitch. That's the important point. Be careful that you don't jump octaves. And then we'll have to convert from tenor clef to either treble or bass clef as shown. And the reason we have these clefs, you can see here that sometimes if it's really high in the bass, you'd end up with lots of ledger lines, so they switch to tenor clef. Or if you were really low in the treble, it deals with that in-between range, and that's why we swap clefs. And so let's move on to the exercise that we need to have a go at. So if you use middle C as your anchor point, just to make sure that you don't jump octaves, and other than that, it's just getting started and then the thinking's done. So if you want to have a crack at exercise 3, A, B and C on your own, first of all, and then re-access into the video and we can work through those together. It's better to have a go. It doesn't matter if you go wrong, you're only writing in pencil. You will learn it better that way. So I'm just going to carry on and just put these bar lines. I'm going to keep everything aligned here because that way it sort of prevents the notes spreading and getting lost. I can see exactly where I'm going if I just keep everything aligned. So we'll just get the nuts and bolts in place. Here we go then. So then we've got to do 3 sharps in the treble clef. So F, C, G, make sure they are positioned correctly. And there's our time signature, so we're ready to go. So if we think that this is middle C, and so we're on C, D, E above middle C, and that means that we must be on the C, D, E above middle C, we're there. Okay, so you'd rub that out, but I'm going to leave that line there as a reference point. So that's the hard work done. We've just now got to keep everything in relation to that note. So we can just tie those straight away. I'll worry about stems later, because of course we're going to have to just rearrange the direction of the stems now. We're positioned differently on the stave. And so we've got next door, step up, step up, step up, back down in step, back down, and we should have ended up where we started, so we know that we're correct. And now we're going to go 1, 3, 5 down a fifth, 1, 3, 5, so we need some ledger lines. Next door up a step, next door up a step. Now there's middle C, and so we should be on middle C here, which in the tenor clef that is. So that's correct. Next door note, back to middle C, same middle C again, same middle C again, tie those. Down a step, down a step, and that should be the same note that we had here, and so we know that that's correct. So it's as simple as that. If you start off correctly and then just keep finding anchor points to check, sort of reference points, and just check your intervals, whether you're steps or fifths apart and so on. So there's lots of different ways of just checking that you've not gone out by a step, which it's easy to do so. So you just have to keep double checking yourself. Now, of course, all of these stems are going to point upwards because we're below the middle line. And so now all we've got left to do is to include this slur, isn't it? I suppose you could slur underneath. I'll keep over the top. There we go, that's that one. So if you haven't done so already, you now perhaps feel prepared to have a go at this next one. So I'm hoping you've had a go with this. I'll just get all the bits and bobs in place. No thinking involved yet. So we're in the bass clef now. We're moving from tenor to bass. We've got 3 flats, so we want B flats, E flats, A flats. Make sure they position correctly. Time signature. That's split common time, or ABRSM 2/2. There's our minim rest, a half note rest. And so let's work out our starting point. So this is middle C. We're on the C, B, A, G, F, E below middle C. Here's middle C, C, B, A, G, F, E. So we're starting here. So of course you'd rub that out, but I'm going to leave that there for you as a reference point. And so technically that's the thinking done. We just need to keep everything in relation to that now. So up a third, same again. I'll worry about stems later. Up a step, now that takes us to middle C, and that's correct because that's our middle C. Down a step, rests, same note, 1 step below middle C. Now we're going to go up 1, 3, 4, 1, 3 is above the line, 4, that's the E above middle C, C, D, E above middle C, that's correct. Back down to the previous note, and that's a 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, that's correct. And then back again to where we just were, up a step, and you can see we're starting to get into lots of ledger lines territory, which is where we sometimes change clef, because if it keeps on going up it's not really appropriate. We move into treble then. And so up a step again, so we're going to need another ledger line, and then down a step, down a step, and that takes us back to this one, that's correct. Down a step, down a step, that should be middle C, which in the tenor clef it is. Down a step, back to middle C, and finishing down a step there. So now we've got the stems to do, and of course now the stems are all going to come downwards because they're all above that middle line, they're all quite high in the bass clef. So just get these stems in place. So it isn't really particularly difficult, you just need to, oh that got a bit long, you just need to just take things carefully, a stage at a time. If you try and do everything all at once, I think there's just a little bit too much thinking to go on. That's why I leave the stems till afterwards. There we go. So one last one. So we're on this one now, aren't we? There we go. So we're going to go from tenor to treble clef. So again, let's just get all of the bar lines in place. It's quite nice just doing this bit, just a nice bit of manuscript writing. I quite enjoy this. Not too much brain work. So now we need a, excuse me, a key signature of 2 flats, B flats and E flats. And so here is middle C, C, D, E, F. So we're on the F above middle C. So C, D, E, F. There's the F above middle C. That's our starting point, and we can work it all out from there. So tie. Now we're going to go down a 1, 3, 5, 3, 5. And just to double check that, that takes us to the B below middle C, so that's correct. Now we're going to jump a 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, a whole octave. So that's there. Down a step. Down a, ooh, tidy that up. Down a step. Down a fifth. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. That takes us to middle C. That's correct then. Tie that. Down a step. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, an octave. So jump to the B. There's an octave. Down a step. Down a step. 1, 3, 4. Down a fourth. Same again. I suppose we could put the ties in straight away. It's up to you which order you do these things in. So down a step should take us to middle C, and then we sharpen it. So that's correct. And now we've got to jump an octave. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. So jump an octave, sharpen it, tie that, up a step. And because we finished mid-bar, we'll just write etc. as they've done. So just the stems now. So actually we've got a fairly wide range of high and low notes. We'll just have to make some decisions about stems. These can all go upwards, of course, because that's the middle line. These can go upwards, I think. And these can go upwards. That's fine. Oops, that went a bit wonky. Now then, this one is above the middle line, but it's kind of outvoted by these two that are much further away from the middle line, so this one will have to just follow suit for the common good, as it were. Now we may have to just move that tie if this, but these are going to come down, so actually the tie can stay where it is, so we're going to have to just have it like that. So we've just got a bit of phrasing to do and some articulation marks. That's tied. Lots of dynamics to write as well. There we go. That's that one done. So there we go then. We'll leave it at that, and we'll look at the next exercise in the next video. I do hope that you're finding this helpful. By all means, crack on ahead and have a go, and then come into the next video when you've had a go at exercise 4. If you can give me a like, that'd be really fab, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated, and please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of the resources available to you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.